Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sean, sometimes known as the Beast, and I thought I would do something a little bit different rather than just showing records, which I predominantly seem to do, and I'd show some of the some CDs I picked up over the last, some of these have probably gone back 6 or 7 months maybe, all black metal, varying degrees of, what's that word that you're not supposed to use, sketchiness I guess it's called. But in my opinion, all decent enough that I think, yeah, let's see if anybody else wants to hear them. So first off, first band needs no introduction whatsoever. Even if you're not a black metal fan, you'll know who this band is. First band in question is Mayhem. This is the Pure Fucking Armageddon 1986 demo. This is the 2024 Peaceville reissue. Obviously Mayhem, Norway. I think anybody who's into heavy metal of any description will have heard the name Mayhem, even if it's just going back to that stupid fucking film that came out, that, what was it called? Lords of Chaos? Lords of Chaos, fucking wank, whatever it was. Yeah, so if somebody had offered me a copy of this 18 months ago, said, you know, do you want it? I'd have said, well, thanks, but no thanks type thing, because I didn't really understand the scene. I didn't really understand the genre or anything like that at all. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't something that needs to be spun constantly. It certainly isn't something I'd ever need to buy on vinyl record. I actually picked it up in HMV, I believe it was, for something silly like $4.99, something like, you know, it wasn't very much at all. Now obviously this is just a chaotic mess, for want of a better word, but in amongst all the horrendous sounding recording that is the epitome of lo-fi, could even be called no-fi, there is, if you listen to it intently enough, there is actually some quite sort of like the smouldering flames of what was going to be coming later and to be worthwhile, I suppose. But yeah, it's like I said, it's not an essential listen. It's certainly not something that I'll be putting on the stereo very often. But nostalgia wise, maybe, it's something that I'm glad I own, and like I said, if I'm ever in the mood for listening to something that's a bit shit and doesn't really sound great but nostalgia kicks in, then I'll probably stick this on for a bit. So that's Mayhem's Pure Fucking Armageddon. If a title ever described a release better than that, I'm not quite sure what it is. So this next one is absolutely wonderful. The band or project in question, I think it's pronounced Nidurns. I will leave the name in the hopefully edit in so you can read it. The album is called The Abyss Beckons. This is a compilation out on Dark Adversary. Now, if you know me at all, you know I'm a massive fan of Drowning the Light. Obviously Dark Adversary is owned by Asgore, so pretty much anything that comes out on that label, you can normally guarantee it's going to be something worthwhile. In this case, this is absolutely wonderful. This is a compilation, as I said, that includes, not that there's much in the way of information on the outside of it. It includes the debut demo called Vengeance Herald of My Despite and Dusk bloody hell, Befalls Our Hearts. So the demo was recorded in 2017 and it's three tracks of just stunning black metal. It's raw, it's visceral, it's very unapologetic in its approach to the genre. This project is from Portugal and they seem to have a bit of There's something about Portuguese black metal that they just seem to add something a little bit different to it from the normal, you know, run of the mill black metal, as it were. It's not really lo-fi in its production. It's better than that, but they've sort of captured that lo-fi vibe and feeling. For me, the highlight of this whole thing is the vocal performance. The vocals are very, very raw, shrieked, anguished, full of torment. You know, it's like it's the type of sound you'd imagine that would be the accompaniment to a nightmare. When you chuck in the relentless onslaught of the guitars and the drums, you know, you're in my sort of wheelhouse where black metal is at the moment. Now the second part of it, The Dusk Befalls Our Hearts, is a 2025 release, and it's one song, and it's the complete polar opposite to the earlier 3 tracks. This is very much more synth based, keyboard based. It's quite melodious. There's none of the savage guitar work, there's none of the like blistering drums. It's very, very dark and sinister sounding. It's very, very atmospheric. The vocals are quite like clean and somber, and that just adds to the whole, like, the mystique and the intrigue as the story unfolds. Really, really good listen. So for me, this is a really good way of showing just how massive a genre and diverse a genre black metal is, because you couldn't pick 2 more different ends of the spectrum, as it were. So that is Nidurns and The Abyss Beckons. That was released in 2025. I will actually write down underneath what then, I'll leave links in the description to everything I show, as I always do. Not even sure if anybody bothers with having a look at on the links, but we'll put them there anyway. So next up is a bit of a gem that I'd forgotten about since I got it. This is Eisenblut, The Struggle for Existence. This is a 2025 release. This is their debut full length out on Darker Than Black Records. This project is from the USA. This came out in March of this year, and when I bought it, it was an instant hit straight away. I was like, yeah, there's something about that that's sort of, it resonated straight away. It's very raw, very aggressive black metal. Again, they don't give you a lot in the way of details and information and such like. But yeah, it hits really hard. And again, the production on this is quite full in comparison to what you would normally expect from a black metal release. But again, it has still managed to capture that that lo-fi type of vibe, as it were. Now the vocals are really shrieked and again full of anguish and despair, but they're sort of in the middle of the mix, so they do keep your attention, but they don't distract from the guitar work on this is just superb. The drumming is furious, keeps you going, it sets the pace, you know, it's just. But the main thing about this is the riffs and again, I don't like using the word groove when it comes to black metal, but there's just a feeling that goes right throughout the album that keeps you hooked. It's got loads and loads of like memorable sections that that sort of stick with you all day, and I'm hoping this gets a vinyl release, because if it does get a vinyl release, I'll be definitely grabbing a copy. It's absolutely wonderful record, well, CD as it is. But yeah, it's the sort of again, I've said this before, it's not meant to sound derogatory in any way, there's sort of a simplistic feel to the music of it, but it's so like mesmeric and hypnotic. It's just absolutely wonderful, wonderful release. So that's Eyes and Blood and The Struggle for Existence from 2025. Right, this next one, again, it's a project there's not a lot, I couldn't find a lot about them. The band in question are called Hellrune. This is their self-titled debut EP, again out on Dark Adversary. This project is also from the USA. This is it's modern black metal that sort of captures that 90s feel. 4 tracks of absolutely wonderful sounding. Oh, can't really do anything up. Almost majestic sounding black metal. Again, the vocals, as you'd expect, are quite pained, quite sorrowful, but they're also full of anger and spite and just not very nice. The drums lay down a massive slab of just utter violence that the other instruments sort of get carried along on. Really good. This is a band that I will definitely be trying or hoping to keep an eye out for, and hopefully they'll bang out a new release at some point, a full album. But yeah, if you haven't heard this yet, I say it's only an EP. It's only, how many tracks is it? 1, 2, 4 tracks. Absolutely cracking. No, a really good, solid, modern black metal release that has the old feelings of 90s black metal. Cracking little release. So the last one for this little, what I've been listening to basically, is the band are called Weltmacht. This is called The Call to Battle. This was originally released in 2001. Now it's the debut full length and it's out on Elegy Records. Again, it's a USA project. But I've got a feeling that this might actually be a boot. It sounds fine, it's, you know, it's, but the only thing is I can't find any type of like catalogue number or record label on it anywhere, and I've looked all over. I've been on Discogs and it's pretty much like, however, it's that's by the by. The fact of the matter is, this is an absolute gem. Beatdown Records, again, doing the best to provide me with stuff that I'd never heard of before. At really decent prices as well. The vocals on this are absolutely incredible. They're really harsh, but they aren't the more like higher end, they're more like a low growl. When the shrieks do kick in, it's horrible, horrendous, horrific sounding, but in a really good way. You know, it's awful noise, but it fits the music so well. It's so it's mostly mid-tempoed, and it's got a really evil atmosphere throughout the whole record. Absolutely belting release. I believe these have another full length out after this one, which I haven't got yet, but I will. I'll pick it up if I see it. Yeah, it's got, for me, the drums on this are very prominent in the mix, which can slightly distract you. However, the drummer knows what he's doing without being overly, like, you know, he's not showing off and he's not using it to say, look how good I am type thing. The snare drum actually has got an absolutely wicked crack to it, and it really works well. But yeah, again, it's one of those ones, I saw it in the shop, the cover intrigued me enough to think, yeah, let's have a punt on this one. say it wasn't a lot of, I think maybe only a five or something like that, if that even. And yeah, absolutely cracking release. Again, I think this is probably one I would buy on vinyl if I found it. If it's, I don't even know if it's out on vinyl, but it's definitely a slightly different approach to, I keep saying regular black metal, but with a genre as wide as black metal, you can't really categorise any of it as regular. But yeah, so this is Veldmacht and The Call to Battle from 2001. So, just thought I'd show something a little bit different by just showing CDs. So I think visually, rather than staring at my ugly mug, you're better off looking at a full 12-inch album cover, because they're that guy behind it as well. I've got a lot of CDs to show. I might do a cassette one actually. There'll probably be a death metal one next, to be honest. There's quite a lot of death metal cassettes coming lately, and a few more to come as well. So yeah, leave you to it. Same as always, the YouTube thing of liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, and all that nonsense. Yeah, I think we'll probably do a cassette update, just something a little bit different. Well, not an update as such, because most of them I've had for ages. Things I've been listening to, or what's spinning, or whatever words, you know, like keywords to get you more views and stuff, because that's what it's all about, apparently. Anyway, I'm waffling shit again. Enjoy whatever music you're listening to, enjoy whatever genre of music you're listening to, and until next time when I'm back with some other inane drivel fueled waffle, cheers!